Hello everyone and welcome to LSI F1.5 Championship. We're today for the EU tier, the Belgian Grand Prix, round 15 out of 16. This is going to be an interesting one. The championship is still very much alive. We've got Gilly in P2. Is it around? I forget all the numbers. I do apologise for that, but yeah. Gilly needs to do well here and Ben needs to do not so well. Ben's not actually in the lobby yet. I do think they are going to be racing later on, but time will tell if that is true, of course. But Gilly comes around the final corner. Let's see what they can put on the board. Initially, is this their opening lap, maybe? My bad there. Right. Zingy. Oopsie, as Gilly makes a bit of a mistake. The strategy around this circuit, it's such a long circuit that if you make a mistake, you can't really fight your way back as easy. Is that true, or am I just chatting?
Well, there's a lot of corners in the middle sector where you can gain and lose time, of course. However, there's not, contrary to belief, there's not too many overtaking spots. You got into Le Colombe, of course, into La Source, and into the bus stop chicane. And there's not really many other places that you would traditionally overtake. So it all matters about getting the middle sector right, although having to compromise that with lower wings. So people like Gilly, for example, who's notorious for running low wings, he might fare very well. And definitely overtaking is Benjamin if he finally joins the session.
Yeah, for sure. Bassoon is actually leading the way. Brand new drive for AlphaTauri. They are ahead of Cohen right now, so Mizzy as well. So looking pretty quick, I should say. Is that going to change later on? We don't know. And are they going to be able to show good pace in the race? We'll have to see. We've never seen them race in LSI. I have seen them race outside. So they are in a permanent seat for AlphaTauri. Of course, they don't have anything to lose or gain, as that's Zora making a mistake on the exit turn 7, unfortunately. We'll stay on board with Gilly as they are about to finish their first timed lap of the session. What's it going to be across the line? And that is a P4, 44.4. Okay, it's a little bit far behind Mizzy, isn't it?
Yeah, what's that? I'm not good at maths, you know, it's like 9 tenths? No, 8 tenths, 8 tenths.
Yeah.
It's got 8 tenths, so Gilly needs to find a lot of time. However, the track will ramp up and he will, well, I'd imagine the lap time will get better with the track grip, maybe not making as much mistakes. So that middle sector will be really, but it'll be very good towards the end of the session. And the straight line speed will also help him as well. So maybe at the end of the session, Gilly might come into his own here. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, for sure. We are on board with Emile Diomati as they're into Le Colombe right now. Let's see what they can do. You know, Emile Diomati is very, very quick. He was up there fighting at the front back in Austria, but just a mistake that caused him to drop down the order as a hell of a lift into turn 7. So maybe a little bit of a moment there. Unless they've already backed off, I don't quite know. But Emile Diomati, we can still see him have a good race here. We just need to see him not make those major mistakes and keep him in contention for the race, of course. Now, Emile Diomati and Heisler both have a disconnect from the lobby so far. Hopefully that doesn't cause any problems later on, but it's just something to consider. That was Emile Diomati going very wide at Pouon, but he managed to just keep it within track limits. So I don't know if he is going for this lap or not. Regardless, we are going to see for a little bit longer to see what they do. That's a yellow into the first chicane, but I don't think that's anything to worry about. I think it's just the car getting out the way of another car. And Emile Diomati coming through. Launch him on towards the bus stop chicane. Let's see what they can do. It's currently 35, 36. I think they're still going to go for the lap. Yes, they are. They're going to go for the lap around the final corner. What's it going to be and where will it put them across the line? And it's going to be a 45.7. So I guess they're going to go again and try and push their way up. We've got Benjamin Olsen, Gibby, all on outlap. So is Heisler. They haven't set lap times yet. Gibby back into LSI. Good to see them here. So yeah, last time, I think last time might have even been Mexico where they had pace, but a couple of issues unfortunately. So hopefully that goes away. They got a brand new wheel, or a fixed wheel at least. So it's good to see them back in this. Unfortunately from a little bit of a time away. But now Let's see what Gibby can do. They're currently set in P10 with no time on the board, and they've got the final few corners to go on this lap.
Yeah, Gibby on a lap right now coming into, I don't actually know this corner lane, that's very bad. And the bus stop chicane, is it Blanchimont?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, Blanchimont and the bus stop chicane, having to brake around 75 metres. I'd say I'm not too good with this last corner, if I'm honest. Shifting into first gear to get a lot of rotation. Coming up to the line now, will he beat... Yeah, I beat Miguel Matti, but I think both those guys can definitely improve. I know these guys are a lot quicker, so we'll wait and see how they end up towards the end of the session.
Yeah, a couple of mistakes right there. Hopefully nothing to worry about. That is a invalid lap time for Benjamin, as he is on an out lap. It's not ideal for him, but it is what it is. Now, I'm looking to see who else we can go on board with. We're going to go on board with Pursunin, currently P1 at the moment. Let's see if they can improve as they're going through the second sector right now. They're not on a lap. They've actually backed off of this one. Warming up their tyres. Can we see Mizzy on a lap here as they're into the first chicane? What's their lap time looking like so far? Just under a 10th improvement, and that is into the wall, and they are out. They will not improve. 43.7 or lower. They will not improve. That is it. P3 or lower, I should say. Mizzy is not going to be happy with that one, but let's hope that's their only crash this weekend.
Yeah, thankfully it happened in qualifying, so we can get back for the race, but that's a very vital mistake to make. We've seen before that place is actually quite easily to make mistakes. Lecombe's actually very difficult to get right with the curb, so it's not surprising to see some people really struggling with that, and Mizzy unfortunately got cut out. Cohen's on a lap right now, and he's looking to make it, like a bajillion pole positions in a row? I don't know, this guy has been incredible over the last few races, isn't that right?
Very, very, very correct. He's put a lot of hard work into the final stage of this championship as he's tried to claw it back and fight, but of course, unfortunately, last race didn't go quite to plan, and it did jump them out, but they do now return to the last two races of the season, and they're going to just try and win them outright. That would be great to see for Cohen, of course. But yeah, they missed just a few too many races. The first part of this season, unfortunately, they actually opened the season with a win, and then they did miss a couple races here and there, which has basically decided what has happened. But still, they have a very, very good pace, and they're very, very promising today. They said that they have a lot of confidence in the car around this circuit, so let's see what they can do. Pretty tidy so far, about 0.2 improvement here. It's not going to be enough to get to P1 at the moment. They've still got the final chicane to go for, though. They've gone purple in the middle sector. If that's a bug or not, I do not know, but we'll have to wait and see. And of course, qualifying setups will be very different to race setups, so we might see a couple people a lot faster in the race than they are in qualifying right now, but time will tell as Cohen comes around the final corner. DRS available, and what's it going to be? It's going to be 2.5 tenths, and it's an exactly the same lap time. Exactly the same lap time. That is impressive. That is incredible, and that is so frustrating for Cohen there. He is just trying to get a little bit of I don't know, not redemption exactly, but try and get some more success that he's now out of the championship, and he's just been matched. That's incredible.
Obviously, these guys set the exact same lap times, however, person set the lap time first, therefore their lap is the, I can quote, faster one. However, the exact same lap time around a track like Belgium, you don't see that very often. I can maybe understand Austria or Australia or something like that when the track time's very short, but Spa, when it's such a long track, there's so many places to make mistakes, and the front two being that close together, that is incredible.
Yeah, very, very impressive stuff right there from these guys. We are about to start a lap with Benjamin, and he's on his way out for what will be his first time lap. Of course, he joined late into the session, but he hasn't got one in since. And Zingy, looking at the time, 4 minutes to go, is that enough to go and do 2 laps, or are they just going to have one opportunity, maybe a cooldown lap?
Right, okay. Let's think. My maths isn't very good here. I don't like if you put me in the spot. It's Benjamin spins! out the final corner, so he's going to have to go for an out lap, which, now that I look at it, he will be able to do. So he's absolutely fine. He's still turned the ERS on. Is he going for it? Because he's lost so much time, surely not. That would be a bit of a silly thing to do. Ben's very smart with these things, so I'm presuming he'll see the delta from his last invalid lap, no?
Not sure. Either way, that was a close call. I don't know. I assume he's probably not going to try and go to the pit lane because he's not going to have enough time for that one, surely.
Definitely not.
Yeah, so he's got to make sure that he saves here and try and gets the tyres to a correct temperature, but he hasn't. That is probably, or potentially, going to be it for Ben's qualifying, at least if he wants to fight for the top positions. He can still try and get a lap in and get somewhat up the order, but other than that, that is not a good position for Ben to be in at this stage.
Well, you see, that's one way he retires. Maybe he was listening to him. His Gilly retires, so he's not going to be improving on that P4. But my thinking is that Ben will try to heal his tyres, and he either done it a bit too much, or I don't know. But it's the Benjamin way, is what I was going to say. I was going to think of something funny to say, but nah. He's definitely going for a lap now. I can't check the percentage because we don't get that much data, unfortunately. However, I do believe the tyres will be around 4 or 5%, which is usually okay for Spa. You want to start a lap with at most 6%. If it's any more than that, you may as well just come to the pit lane. So Ben should be fine for our lap. ER is fully charged. And would you like to take? Would you want to take us for this lap, Aaron, or do you want me to do so?
You can do it for sure.
I'm trying my best. So it's a long track, but you know what? Might as well go for it as he lets Persoon go, who is currently on a lap. Let's see where that will get him. Coming through the last corner now. As Benjamin also is about to start his lap, though it'll be faster. Yes, by a couple hundredths. And here goes Ben. He's starting his lap now. Coming out as all sorts. A tight hairpin for turn one. You want to brake around the 75 metres. Get the car nicely rotated in. Get on the accelerators early as you can. Straighten up that steering wheel without going over the track limits. Now coming into the one of the most famous corners of the world. Rouge and Radio. You might go flat up here. There's a bit of a bump. You might go a bit wayward as Ben does a little bit, but he catches it. And coming onto the straight now. This is the Chemo straight. And it's going to lead you onto the column now. You want to brake around nearly 50 metres. You want to ride these curbs a bit, which is what Ben's done. He's kept it nice and tidy through the Lacombe section. Now through into the middle sector now. This long hairpin. It's really tricky on the tyres as Benjamin goes a bit wide. So his tyres are not going to be liking that. Into No Name now. Flick it left and he doesn't go off the track, but he loses a bit of time due to the tyre scrubbing. Now coming into Huon now, touching the curb a little bit, but he keeps it nice and straight. The car nicely corresponding to his movements, and now coming through into the middle, the last part of the middle sector. He goes a bit wide on the entry, which compromises second run, and now he's coming into the last sector now. He goes a bit wide. What's the split going to be? It's going to be purple to the middle sector, so he could be on for a very good lap here. Coming into Blanchimont roundabout now, a fast 190 mile an hour corner. You want to keep it flat to the floor of these cars. Ground effect using to full effect here. 200 mile an hour as he goes through there, absolutely rapid. And into the bus stop chicane, you want to go from 200 all the way down to crawling speeds, but you don't want to be too feisty on the traction, otherwise you will spin. Up to the line now, and it's P6.
P6 is what they can do, and that's, to be honest, not too bad of a run with their final opportunity. Of course, they didn't really have much choice to do anything else. You've got Larlock, who will actually go on board quickly to see if they can improve and where to. And then I think the last qualifying runners, Olsen and Curran. That is Larlock just jumping ahead of Olsen. Is Olsen on a lap? No, it's invalid. We're going to go on board with Curran. He's the only one to set an improvement lap, and this is going to be for pole position if he can get it done now. Puon, is he going to be able to push the limits further than he's ever done before, really, to getting as close as he can to the track limits? I don't know if this is going to be enough. We're about to get to Sector 3 and find out. Rides the curve to gain everything he can. Get the rotation, smooth on the throttle. Across the sector line here. What's it gonna be? 1/10 is going to be enough for pole. If he can just keep it together, we're going to go through the curve. We're going to go towards Blanchimont now. It's just waiting for bus stop. And don't get caught out by that bump on entry. Otherwise, you're going to be in big trouble here. Final 2 corners to go into the braking zone. Right the inside curb, onto the next one, through turn 19, on the exit, DRS available. Is it going to be pole position for Cohen? And it will! What a drive! That is a 43.1, and Pursoon to P2. The Belgian driver, his home Grand Prix, just misses out on debut for pole position, but those guys are looking in a very good position. Cohen does take pole position, but does he really want pole position? Is P2 a better position, and was that a blessing in disguise for Pursoon?
We'll have to wait and see for the race. That's going to be incredible. I mean, these guys separated by a 10th, and I'll let you go through the grid.
Cohen takes pole position, Pursoon in P2, and then we've got Mizzy in P3. This is the rest of the grid. Then we're going to skim through the race director, and then we'll see you in a bit. Ready? Hold. Go! Who's going to get it into turn 1? Cohen gets away very well, but the P2 position's going to go to Mizzy! Mizzy, the AlphaTauri, does not get away well, and that is the Red Bull also challenging. Mizzy, is they going to be close enough to be able to get the run up to Camel Straight? I don't know. That's Gilly getting away safely, but Benjamin was ghosted, having a bit of an issue. Heischler also having an issue. Gibby down to the back of the grid right now. Mizzy is going to get challenged by Pursoon as he wants to go back for the move to try and take that P2 where he was earlier on. Breaks as late as he can, doesn't have the advantage here, and he's going to have to let the Mercedes go. The Red Bull can't find a way through, but that is brilliant defending for Mizzy. Zora retires, and the exit of turn 7, I don't know what happened there. It doesn't look like there's going to be a safety car, but they've spun. And that is an interesting situation for them to be in. Just a yellow flag, nothing more. Looking further behind, of course, we've got Gilly getting away pretty well. Mio Diamati behind them. Everybody's pretty much spread out. No one's really looking for a move at the moment. And that is the AlphaTauri of Olsen, unfortunately, making a mistake as they lose the car. Very easily done on the exit of Pool. And also goes Nifo. Lots of people being caught out on the slippery track surface already.
Yeah, a couple of people really struggling, and I also noticed that Olsen is missing a front wing. I don't know what's going on there, but it seems he's really struggling around the corners, of course, with that lesser downforce as Kibbe goes for a little spin again, unfortunately. But also Olsen having a bit of an issue, and now he goes Heischler around the outside, no bother whatsoever, he gets out of the way nice cleanly. Onto lap 2 now, you got Pursoon here. He's very close to Mizzy. Will be looking to size up and move into the source. It doesn't look like it at the moment, but he uses a bit of battery, but he thinks better of it and stays behind for the moment.
Yeah, you got the couple of drivers making their pit stops, of course. Unfortunate for them, but we are focusing on these guys. Pursoon is going to be looking at their move to try and make that P2 work, because if they can get a slingshot, then they can try and get back to Cohen. A phenomenal slingshot, goes for a bit of a fakie to the outside line, and the toe is going to be so significant, no need for DRS to make that kind of move. Mizzy can slot in behind. They've just got to make sure that they stay with the train, because that'll be crucial here. Gilly making the move, but they've spun it! They've spun it! They're in the middle of the circuit, and Benjamin goes through! That's not what they need to do! No way! Turn 6 is so tricky for everyone today. I do not believe it. I was going to say they're looking in a pretty good position, pretty safe, but no. All of a sudden, down the order. That was a P4 ahead of their rival in P6. Still wouldn't be enough, I don't think, to get the championship, if I'm correct, but that's a even worse situation for Gilly to be in.
I am going to look at the championship standings if you'd like me to, whilst you continue doing that, so you can understand the circumstances.
Of course, we have Hassoun, who's going to be very close to Kern. They're going to get the first DRS. Dosage as well. Larlock is going to get pressure from Eager Pro very soon. They're a high-tier driver, so they don't need to worry about Eager Pro too much. They just need to stay back. But yes, look at these guys. We do have Hassoun and Cohen. Both of these guys, both of the top three, actually not in the championship battle, but they are very close to one another, as you see the AlphaTauri going straight away for that fastest lap. So they're looking pretty quick. DRS will be available for the first time for the AlphaTauri. Mizzy isn't going to get DRS, but if these guys do fight a little bit, then he will be able to catch it later on, maybe on the next lap. DRS available. Is he going to push for the move? He's going to see how quick he can gain. I think he is going to have to push for the move. Goes to the inside line. Cohen doesn't actually defend. Is he just going to let him go? No. Swoops on the outside, and he's round. He is round. I don't think there was contact. And he's stuck on the curb. He's stuck on the curb. He's going to have to reset to track for that one. I hope he does reset to track, because otherwise he's going to get DSQ'd. Yes, he does. There you go. That will not be a penalty because he was stuck. Just to clarify, that is very unfortunate. I think he rode the curb to try and take as much as he could to avoid contact. I don't think that was an incident. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, that was a bit of an unfortunate sort of circumstances for Hassoun. He's dropped into P9. However, in the early stages, it showed that he's got a very good pace, so he can come back definitely with some people on the hard tyres. Gilly and Niffle, as well as Ben. And about the championship, Gilly needs to finish 4 points ahead of Ben, so primarily he does need to, 5 points ahead of Ben, so he needs to win at least. So it's not looking good for Gilly now. Benjamin could wrap up the title right at this race, so Gilly's going to have to put his foot down and stamp authority on this race, otherwise it's going to go right to Ben.
Yeah, looking pretty good for Ben right now. He just needs to try and keep it consistent. Other than that, he just needs to finish ahead of Gilly, regardless of position, although he's very loosey-goosey on the rear, as you see Eager Pro and Larlock switching positions up ahead. Benjamin will be able to get the DRS as these guys slow each other down a bit, so even though he's just lost the rear there, he's got a bit of a blessing once again. So, yeah, brilliant stuff here for Ben. He's kind of just relaxing at the moment. Eager Pro is right behind Larlock, and he's going to get the DRS on the Red Bull, gets the toe, gets the button, activates it, and he's going to make a very straightforward move. Benjamin's going to catch up, but is he going to catch up enough? I don't quite know. Larlock always very quick in the straight line. Eager Pro only just about gets through.
Yeah, Larlock is looking very dangerous in the straight line. I've noticed that DRS is actually very powerful around this track specifically, and I couldn't tell you as to why. However, that might make people want to be more opportunistic, and it will give everyone some reason to overtake. Speaking of, I don't think he will into pulling off course, but Benjamin on the hard tyre is actually looking very quick at the moment, as he, I think, gets a track limit warning there. But Ben on the hard tyre compared to Larlock's medium, I wouldn't suspect the tyres to go off immediately. I'd say lap 7 or 8 is when the switching point would be. So Ben at the moment is looking very rapid and looking to, of course, seal the title and make it a dominating, and dominating style. Oh! He almost loses the car coming out of the middle set of dirt, and that could have been it. Ben could have been out of the race, but he's caught it, and thankfully for his sake at least, that he kept it on the track. That was very skillful from him to not pin it into the wall.
From now on, he will not be riding that curb, and he might have a lift every time he gets to that corner. But yeah, that was a scary moment. I did notice he rode that curb quite hard in all his qualifying runs. So he does have to be careful. I was going to say, he is actually fighting for a P3 here with Larlock, of course, because of the higher tier driver of Eager Price. So he is on the podium at the moment with a yellow. I'm not quite sure who that was for, but other than that, Benjamin, he's probably not going to be able to get a good enough run to try and catch up to Larlock, because Larlock is way too far ahead and they have the DRS. So looking like they're in a very good position. Very tidy, and pretty much everybody just relaxing at this point. Mizzy is trying to get to the DRS of Cohen, but they can't quite find their way in.
Yeah, Cohen and Mizzy having an intense battle. It doesn't look like it, but from the timings, this is a very sweaty battle for P1. It's much more intense than some may think, having to constantly keep the pace up as Mizzy's dropping a bit of time in the middle sector. So Cohen, although he has looked quick in the straights, he also seems to have it in the corners. So maybe Cohen overall has just got either a better setup. And oh, Mizzy's going for a spin! Mizzy's going for a spin in the middle sector. The chicane caught him out and he needs to rejoin the track here as he's just about done. Larlock through, Benjamin through, Niffo, I presume is going to be through as Noe on Ghosts. And he spins again, Mizzy on that caught tyre. Spins once again, it's also Gilly has went for a spin further back. So it's not looking good for Gilly at all.
That's not ideal. Gilly making more and more mistakes, which is just never going to help. That is, of course, now Eager Pro up to P2, Larlock up to P3 and P2 for the drivers. Benjamin also follows suit. Pursoon also making positions slowly as these guys make a couple mistakes, and he will try his best to catch up to the train, but that train is going to be pretty powerful. Will the train be able to catch up to Cohen? I don't know, but Benjamin actually is going to have a very good chance of making a move on Larlock this time, because Larlock's not within DRS. And this could be a bit of a switching point, of course, because he's on that hard tyre. So if he can unleash that hard tyre, he's going to be good to go. He doesn't want to be threatened by Niffo behind him. Niffo will be just driving their own race, so if they want to go for the move and they can make it safely, then they can go for that move. Benjamin, though, really wants to try and get the move done on the Red Bull. The Red Bull slow through turn 7, but not enough. They actually lock up. Benjamin sends it to the inside. They're not going to get a good enough run. Larlock decides not to take the racing line, and there's contact. There's contact. That is a very interesting judgment there for Benjamin, and it allows Niffo to go through. He decided to turn in way too early, forces Larlock onto an interesting line, looking for the switchback, but still manages to make a mistake.
Yeah, Benjamin maybe just misjudging what Larlock would do, maybe thinking he'd go a bit wider and he'd get cut back. However, that was not the case. Larlock holding his inside line, and I couldn't see visually if Benjamin had damage. However, from the way he's driving, it looks like he may have a bit of minor frontline damage, which could be costly, especially on that hard tyre. And if he's got damage, he's going to be extremely slow. And with Pursoon behind him on his debut, he's been looking absolutely rapid. So I wouldn't count Pursoon out of a good finish still, even after that little mishap earlier on.
Yeah, absolutely rapid, and he can make his way through. We have now Larlock and Nifojan, who are probably going to be switching positions. Would Niffo want to challenge Larlock? Or regardless, I think they probably will switch positions. Benjamin not within DRS, and that could be a crucial situation for these guys. So Niffo's going to make that move, going to get a slingshot, and you know how Larlock is very quick in a straight line. So if Larlock lets Niffo go through, they are going to be able to gain a lot of time here on Benjamin. Is he going to let him go through, though? That is a yellow for Mio Diamati, unfortunately, in Fanny Chicane. Now, they do gain a lot of time on Ben, but he doesn't go for the move, and he makes a slight mistake. Ben could try and catch back up, but I don't know if he'll be able to do enough to find any time. He goes and gets a 3-second. He's got to pray there's no safety car. Otherwise, he's going to be in a bit of trouble, although getting a time penalty around this circuit is better than Austria, because there is a lot more margin for error, of course, with the longer track distance. Lots of spin on the pit exit for Heisler, unfortunately, as he just misjudges the cold
And here comes
tyres.
Pursuit.
Pursuit looking for the move on Ben. Ben already making more mistakes, and they keep losing it. Of course, I think that time penalty must have just distracted them a little bit. Mio Diomati takes it to the pit lane. Unfortunately, that is both AlphaTauris out of today's race. Benjamin does lose that position, and look at that pull away. Pursuit is absolutely rapid and possibly going to be able to close up to cars ahead.
Right. I've just been looking at Ben's driving as you were talking about him. He's got damage. He's definitely got damage.
Okay.
Obviously, Ben could just be slow because of the penalty, but I know Ben, he's actually a very good driver. And so is everyone else, don't get me wrong, but Ben can pull it out of the bag a lot, and those hard tyres were looking very good, but if you wanted to look at his onboard, you can see how conservative he's going into the Le Comte chicane. So, and he's not using battery either, so maybe he's scared to go too fast and the brakes don't work and he locks up. So, Ben's carrying a lot of damage, I think. So
yeah, from Laluk, the contact with Laluk, I assume. Nifo's going for the move on, on Laluk there, as they put themselves into P3. Regardless, Laluk still sits in P2 for the EU drivers, and if they can hold on to DRS, that will help them a lot as they make a bit of a mistake. That will allow Pursuit to catch up, and Pursuit's going to look to try and go for P2. So yes, they may be about 10 seconds behind Cohen, but they are going to be trying to take back that P2 position from earlier on.
yeah, Pursuit is... Yep, Mezzi and Wesley are swapping places. Wesley up into P7. Mezzi getting a bit of understeer in the dirt tier, and he's just going to relinquish the position to Wesley as he is a higher tier driver, I believe, if I'm correct. Yeah, Wesley, an F1 driver, so Mezzi has no reason to really fight him, as I think Mezzi's tyres eventually look a bit worse, so it's a smart thing to do, maybe get his DRS and try and push on as Mezzi. Oh, he makes a bit of a mistake and goes onto the rumble strip, but he keeps the car in a straight line, which is the most important thing. As Pursuit, yet again, he's on the move, ahead of his Red Bull, I was going to say teammate, or a sort of teammate, Larlick into P2 for the EU driver. So Larlick relinquishing the position, however, that flashing light in the AlphaTauri suggests that Pursuit has used a lot of battery. But Larlick can't seem to get the traction down, he almost spins the car into the wall on the last corner exit, however, into turn 1. He should be able to keep that DRS. Let's look at the gap. 8 tenths. It's actually gone to a second. It's going to go back down, but he's going to get a compromised exit due to his scuffed line into the DRS zone. I think he might have got it coming through our rouge now. He's going to look at the straight now, and you're going to see it on his little dashboard. And there's the DRS. But he's just about kept on. But Larlick, after getting overtaken, maybe mentally just a bit bummed out after that. So I'm not too sure. But Pursuit's flying.
Yeah, we saw them back last season actually have a lot of pace around this circuit. It didn't go quite to plan, unfortunately, then. So, Larlick does have the pace. They've just seemed to have dropped off, although everybody ahead of them are very, very quick. They're very, very quick. So it's not the worst thing to be overtaken by the quick driver, because it's kind of understandable. But still, not ideal, not what they want to be. They are still in a podium position. That's something about Larlick. He's extremely consistent. He's always scoring points every race. And he's won a couple championships in the NA tier for it. So, and also the summer season as well. So he's very, very good with consistency. And I'm sure right now he can sit where he is and just keep plodding on. So good stuff from Larlick here. We've got a yellow. That is from Mizzy, unfortunately making another mistake. And that will be Gilly having a great opportunity to get another position ahead, but it's not enough because they need to be ahead of the McLaren, and that is going into the pit lane.
Yeah, Cohen making the first move into the pit lane. Those medium tyres starting to go off, as you can see by the rubber piercing off the tyre, of course, into the pit lane. Now you want to remember, I think some people might have forgotten that you need to. There's a bit of skill to the pit lane. You need to press the button just before you turn into the pit box, and you'll get an optimal pit stop. And that looks like Cohen has got just that. So obviously, the pit lane isn't too much of an issue. However, it can be won and lost in the pits, especially close races. And speaking of close, Benjamin is going to go up the inside into a rouge. That is a ballsy move from Benjamin, and he's going to get the DRS just to assure dominance, and he's done it. Wow, that was incredible.
Yeah, Cohen's going to be furious with that one, of course, because he's now going to get a little bit of dirty air. Maybe it can help him warm up his tyres. That is unfortunately Mizzy out of the race. But yeah, Benjamin just, making the move, because why not? He has nothing to lose. He might have damage, as we say. He does have a time penalty, and he still needs to make a pit stop. So he is a whole pit stop behind Cohen. But still, fair play as he does go for that move. Gets the DRS. Perfect timing for Cohen to come out the pit lane, according to Ben at least. Terrible timing there, but makes a mistake, does Benjamin, as he has to lift, as we said. Yeah, he might have damage, and just proving that he kind of does have damage. That is Cohen making the move, and is probably, I'm going to say, run away here, as you see for the final two corners. Look at that understeer. It's absolutely immense, and Cohen's already gone. Pro and Nifo.
Yeah, I think Igor Pro is experiencing some lag spikes as he was yesterday, so that's why you're seeing two cars inside each other, so we do apologise for that. Igor's tried his best to fix the game, however. It's a bit broken. Anyhow, into turn 1 of the source, it's going to be a great overtaking spot from Niffle. Is he going to get the switch back, or is he going to play it tactically and wait for the DRS? He's going to get very close to Igor, but look, he's thinking smart of it. Igor also delays the throttle and hopes that Niffle decides to go for the move. However, Niffle thinks of this, and he stays behind 4 now, up a Rouge through Radion now. Dirty air not really affecting you, it's an easy flat 190 mph corner onto the straight now. Niffle using all his battery, and he's going to go up into the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix. However, the battery situation is looking dire.
Igor Pro can't really do too much, the lag is also slightly distracting for him, because he just gets major screen freezes, which makes it virtually impossible for him to know what's going on. As well as the other drivers. So it's really unfortunate that he's being plagued by these issues. We're going to try and figure them out. I think he's already tried to reinstall the game, and no graphic driver update. So at the moment we're a little bit stuck on what to do, but we'll eventually figure it out. It is what it is at the moment. He's just going to have to keep going and plodding along. Luckily, Nifo's got through. Luckily, he ghosts when he does lag. We just got to pray that nothing worse happens. That is, what's he getting me? 3 seconds as they try their best to push up the order. Was that Pursoon also making a pit stop?
Pit stop. Yes. He is onto the hard tyres now, and he's going to be trying his best to push on towards the front pack once again. Obviously, he was a bit far behind, but maybe his new hard tyres, although it will be a bit hard to heat up, but he will have a lot of pace. As you see, the car is just... He just turns it in there, gets a little stab at the steering wheel, and the car just responds with him. So maybe those hard tyres are a bit easier to heat up in these very warm conditions. So Pursoon looking rapid at the moment, using his battery, thinking that maybe he can get a jump, if not close, to some other drivers. So he's doing very well at the moment. So yeah, it's looking good for Pursoon.
Cohen setting the pace. I am really interested why those two have gone for the medium tyre. I assume they just wanted to try and escape, get a bit of a gap to the cars behind, maybe. I don't know. It is sometimes a plan, of course, because if the cars behind fight, then you can gain a nice advantage. But still, I am slightly interested. Luckily for Cohen, he does have quite a big gap to the other cars behind, so he doesn't have anything to worry about, and he can still go to another set of mediums later on. Pursoon's got a little bit more work to do, but still, he can still have a good race.
Yeah, Pursoon is he's looking very, very comfortable in that car at the moment. I don't want to jinx him, so I probably shouldn't have said that, but yeah, he's just looking like he's got some pace at the moment on his debut as well. Remember, it's his home track, and Nigel Mansell does say that a home track advantage can gain up to a second, so... No, I'm joking. Pursoon's a good driver. Yeah,
it's a shame that you'll never find that, but it is what it is. So... Igor Pro. Oh no! Cohen's round!
Oh my God.
I don't believe it! They've lost it! They've lost it! Cohen is round! Benjamin makes the move up to P1 of the... Oh, what? P1! Benjamin is in P1 and a safety car is deployed. He's going to get his front wing changed. Oh my lord. The time penalties are not going to look good, but Cohen just pushing to try and go fast on these hard tyres on the opening stages, and he's just gone a little bit too hard. That is very weird, and Zingy, in this situation, what are you going to be looking at for tyres?
Well, mediums.
Everyone going to mediums.
Oh, well, unless if you start on mediums, you go to hard and then you go to your certain mediums. But Cohen, I'm sorry, but what? There was no need for him to push. He had what, 12 seconds, something like that, to the car's behind. He could have just cruised to the end, losing at least a second a lap, and he would have been fine. I don't know why. Oh no, that's really unfortunate because Cohen was looking good for another win there, although he wasn't in the championship. Didn't have anything to lose, as you said, but he pushed too hard and into the Fangus Kane. He just dropped it. So that's what can happen sometimes. But the game is the game, and you can't do anything about it sometimes. That's unfortunate. However, what some people will like, especially Pursuit, is that he is now P1. He's dropped Ben in the pit lane due to Ben's
He's not because of Larlock.
What? Oh, my apologies.
But tyre-wise, he has a significant advantage.
Oh yeah, multiple. I'd say it's sparse, so I'd say 6-7 tenths a lap on those medium tyres at least. Those medium tyres will be so much faster than the hards. The hards being 2 laps old, so they will be a tiny bit slower as well due to that as well. So yeah, so everyone behind on the medium tyres, Larlock either will pit and come out last and have to fight his way through, or he stays out and uses his tremendous straight line speed to his advantage. What would you do in this situation, Alan?
Of course I would want to go to the medium tyre, although Larlock, it says that he's got 2 laps on his hard tyre, so it doesn't look like he is going to be pitting, otherwise he would have already made that pit stop. So yeah, I'm a little bit confused that why they're not, but maybe they're feeling more confident on it and maybe they want to try and have the tyre advantage later on into this race. You never know. Looking at time penalties, Eager Pro, Wesley Caspers, their Hayato drivers, they're in a bit of a different situation. Benjamin is not going to like this. Gilly gets a second chance to try and get back ahead. Of course, they had that mistake earlier on in the race, which caused them to drop down significantly. But they still need to keep with the grids while they're all bunched up and then make an overtake. And we know that Gilly's very good in the straight line, but can he set up an overtake throughout the rest of the circuit? That is the question. He needs to make the move, and then he needs to hope that Benjamin drops down the order later on. I don't know what's going to happen here. Regardless, they've still got Pursuit, who's in theory the net race leader, and he would take the 20 points. So whoever finishes behind him is going to have to take that 16 points, and Gilly needs them, and Benjamin just needs to finish close by.
The only issue is Ben has a penalty of 3 seconds. Let me go check the penalties. 3 for Ben. This is not the F1 drivers, this is just EU. Gibby with a 6, and Heish with a 3. So Benjamin, I'm just trying to think here. Gilly P16, no, 16 points. Ben P3, 14 points. P4 would be 12 points. 12?
12 points is 12 points is P4. Yeah.
1, 2.
Yeah, 12, so it goes 20, 16, 14, 12, 10.
12, 10. Right, okay, so it's not looking... It's not looking the best for Ben. Well, it's not looking good for either of these drivers at the moment, but Ben could either do one or two things, which... well, both legal just before anyone asks. You can either push on, try and get ahead, and go for the race win and pull out the gap. On the contrary, you could not like back up Gilly to a ridiculous pace, but just keeping the DRS in pursuit, and Gilly will obviously stay there. And then he could get challenged by Olsen, who doesn't have a penalty, which would obviously help Ben, and then afterwards go for a push, which would be, well, both would be a very good idea. So Ben just needs to think carefully about this. Remember that he has the track position, and there's only 2 people he needs to fight, and one of them being on a much slower tyre. So the situation is Ben's looking good at the moment. It's just a penalty that complicates things. Gilly needs to make up a few positions, and the safety car will be in at the end of lap 14, which is this lap.
Awesome. Alrighty, Nifo's going to be bunching up the grid, waiting for that safety car to go in. There was a little bit of lag there. I think that might just be a bit of a game thing, hopefully. Nothing more. But yeah, Nifo leads the way. EagerPro is going to be the one to react. I really hope there's no more lag issues, especially at this point at least. Wesley Caspers is also going to be right there, but on the hard tyre. They didn't opt to go for a double pit stop, which I find very interesting. But it is what it is. Time will tell how it goes. Maybe they're confident in their setup, their straight line speed. We'll have to wait and see. As they do make a mistake, they go off the circuit. That's going to cause a bit of a complication for the guys behind. And Nifo spots their moment to go for the move. And look at that gap that they now have to everybody else. It's a 5 second for Heischler as he makes a mistake. And both Astons, unfortunately, down the order. That was a really, really weird one. Wesley Caspers makes that mistake. EagerPro makes a bigger mistake as he doesn't react well to Nifo. Wesley Caspers just about manages to hold on to the DRS, but soon in P4 as he was caught napping by all of that shenanigans. And I think Larlick had to take avoiding action from the Mercedes, maybe? I'm not quite sure. Yeah, okay, so they did. That allowed Pursoon to get through, but they lost a lot of time. Gilly's on the outside as they go into Lecom. Is it going to be possible to make the move? The Red Bull tries to fight back. The straight line speed isn't there. They're going to have to back off. It looked a bit of a deja vu moment from last season, but this time the Ferrari will take the position and stay on track just about. So well done there to Gilly to make that move. He needs to now push to get ahead of Benjamin. He has to do it.
Yeah, Gilly needs to go for the win here. It's all or nothing as he gets a little bit of a snap on the tyres. I don't know what happened there exactly. A bit of sliding, he loses a bit of time. But Gilly realistically needs to just go all out. He needs to pass Ben, get rid of him, and absolutely fly towards Pursoon, who's looking on course for a win in his debut race. When was the last time that happened there?
I'm not quite sure, to be honest.
No, I'm being serious. Like, who was actually the last person to win?
I have no idea.
Was it me? Was it me?
I don't think it was, no.
Oh, damn. Looking for a bit of clout. Not clout, a bit of motivation. What's the word? God, I don't know what I'm on about. Anyway, we'll get back on for the race. Pursoon into the bus stop chicane. Is he going to go for it? A ballsy move will be required. But he thinks better of it. He's smarter than that, and he's going to wait for the DRS. No, the DRS is going to be like, activated. No, this lap. It won't be activated this lap, right?
I don't think so.
No, sorry, okay, I was getting confused with the timings. It will be lap 17, and Pursoon is all over the back of Wesley Casper, proving that even the F1 drivers struggle on these hard tyres. These hard tyres are absolutely dreadful, especially compared to the medium tyres. Pursoon is going to go down the inside of Wesley Caspers, coming onto the straight before even the straight properly begins, and he's gone! He's legged it! He's absolutely rapid in a straight line and no one can catch him. He's up into P3 and that puts a car. It puts a car in between him and an EU driver of Benjamin. So Pursoon is absolutely flying here and looking on course for a fantastic result.
That was absolutely amazing. We got Olsen behind Larlick. Larlick on that hard tyre. Olsen could possibly make a move here. And it would gain him a nice bit of points as well. They joined the championship late on, but they can still try and score something here. It'd be nice to see them get up the order. Gilly, though, this is the important battle that we have to see. This is what we need to watch. 2 seconds is now the gap. So not what we need for Gilly, but brilliant job from Ben right now. He needs to extend this 3 second, though. He needs to make sure.
Larlick cut the final chicane, and that allows Olsen to go through into P4. So Olsen making great progress, and next is Gilly. So Gilly's going to be under pressure from the AlphaTauri now.
Yeah, let's see how Olsen's pace is compared to that Ferrari. He's not too far away, but Gilly needs to focus more on the car ahead because they want to get within time penalty range of Benjamin, of course. DRS will be available, but not going to be available for anybody except from the Astons, who are actually in a little bit of a train because Larlick's made that mistake and allowed them to kind of be picked up by it. So we'll have to see what the Astons can do a little bit later on. The top drivers are split pretty evenly, just not close enough to really make any overtakes.
Yeah, Pursoon used all his battery to catch up to EagerPro and drop Wesley. He dropped Wesley, however he's going to have to push a little bit more in the corners to catch up to EagerPro. I just want to ask, this one's a bit disrespectful, depending on how you listen to it, but does he recognise that the F1 drivers are, well, these are the F1 drivers, or is he just
I'm not quite sure. Brand new to the league, obviously, so it might not be quite straightforward as that. Unfortunately, we're just going to have to see how that goes, but I mean, he's got a lot of pace, so he can probably back up a move regardless. Even if he didn't need to go for the move, he could probably go for the move to get Eager Pro. Nifo is a long way ahead. We're on board with the two Astons as they switch positions. Hushed up on the inside of Puon. Brilliant job there for him. Trying to get back into this one after a very tricky start to this race. I don't know what the time penalties are looking like for these guys because they've had a couple of big track extension there. 8 seconds and 9 seconds for Heisler and then Gibby. That is really not ideal. Of course, they've had a couple of comings together in this race so far as teammates. That is the worst thing you can possibly do. But yes, what we're saying about Pursuit, I don't know if he will recognise it, but regardless, he doesn't really need to worry because he's got a lot of pace in that car right now. He doesn't have any time penalties either. Benjamin is looking close to the back of Casper's, so he might be able to get a bit of a tow. But we're going to look at Iga Pro and Pursuit for a possible move.
Yeah, coming through Radio now onto the Kemmel Street. Igor's light isn't flashing, however, Pursuit's is. He's used all his battery basically to catch up to the DRS. However, it has paid off, and then we can save battery a little bit because, as we see, he can get the Heart car really hooked up into the corners. Benjamin goes for a move on Wesley. We didn't see it coming, but Benjamin's absolutely flying. He's dropped 3 seconds to the Ferrari of Gilly, and now Benjamin's looking on course every second now to become the champion of the F1.5 tier once again.
Wow, pretty impressive. Wesley Casper's not finding these hards too good, and Benjamin had to make that move because he couldn't afford Gilly to be able to catch up. So he had to make that move, regardless if he finishes ahead or behind Wesley Casper's. He will take the position. He is still in P2 for the F1.5 EU drivers and looking in a very good position. And this has pretty much summed up his season. Even though he's had some issues, he's managed to fight back and be there when it counted. In the last few laps, he's there when it matters. We're going to look back with the top battle here. Pursuit and Iga Pro. Iga Pro trying to hold on right now, but the DRS is going to kick him very shortly, and it will be difficult for Iga Pro to be able to challenge. DRS available, might even have a look in the inside as they are side by side. Going to look at the switchback to try and get a better exit. Is he really going to try and go for it before we get to Arouge? No, he will not. He's going to back off, get the DRS. Iga Pro right now needs to try and focus on escaping a little bit. As we saw earlier on, his battery is looking pretty good, and that is Wesley Casper's retiring from the session, and that could be a safety car. No, it's not. It's into the pit lane. Looking at this though, again, Pursuit is actually matched with Iga Pro in the straight line. Iga Pro is absolutely rapid in a straight line. That is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil your fun a bit too much, but Pursuit was doing a little bit of taunting with the DRS, I believe. Flicking it back and forth. Let's hope we didn't do a Fernando Alonso and just break the wing altogether, because that would be less than ideal. However, if that were to be the case, he'd be rapid around all the straights, so I'm sure he wouldn't mind that at the moment with his minimal ERS, but he has been saving a bit, so Pursuit onto these last 2 laps could look to be a very accomplished F1 driver. How about that? We thought at the start of this race, yes, this Pursuit guy is very quick. He'll probably challenge for a podium. Maybe even a win if he's lucky, but he hasn't needed luck this entire race. He's been absolutely rapid, and even challenging Iga Pro, which is something that's actually very challenging, which some people might not imagine, but he's a very hard driver to pass, especially down the straight, as you've seen with the straight line speed. So coming into the bus stop chicane, there's going to be 3 laps to go after they cross the line. Pursuit, is he going to go for the move? I don't believe so. Battery is off for the moment. Is he going to go around the outside? Iga Pro smartly blocks it off. He does not want him to get the switch back. Does not want him to put under pressure, but He goes a bit wide on exit, which could compromise his run down into Arouge and Radion. Coming into the corners now, on the steering wheel, it looks like they've got the matching ERS roundabout, so Pursuit has saved a significant amount of batteries. So, coming into the com now, he's not going to go for a move. He's going to shape one up in the last few laps. Maybe try to drain Igor of his battery, which it looks like he's kind of doing. So, Pursuit playing it tactically, and will it pay off towards the end?
Yes, because of time penalties. I'm interested what this idea is, to be honest. It's a little bit of a weird one, but it is what it is. And yeah, he's going to sit behind. Not that if he did make the move, he would be able to catch up to Nifo, because that is a big, big gap. But still, it's kind of like taking the chance away, and it's also taking the risk factor that Nifo needs to take to hold that lead, because as these guys battle, they only extend the gap further. So at the moment, Nifo can just sit right there and have a very, very nice advantage to the rest of the cars. So yeah, looking good for them right now. That is a weird AI car, going for a very, very long trip around the circuit despite retiring. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. But regardless, looks like Pursuit's just waiting here. Is he going to go for a move on the brakes? No, he won't. He's just going to sit behind, keep the pressure on, keep it nice and intense, and try and pull the pin at some point later on. Benjamin sitting in P4, P2 for the EU drivers. Gilly 4 seconds behind. Not doing enough here. Ben just needs to sit here and relax. Although, sitting there and relaxing, that's what Cohen said he was doing. He said he wasn't even pushing. So don't take this circuit for granted. It could cause problems.
Yeah, causing problems is one thing. Causing a problem for Eager Pro is the AlphaTauri of Pursuit. He's finally going to use the battery that he saved up over the last few laps. Eager Pro cannot challenge him into the com now. Pursuit is up into P2 on track. He's done the move around the outside, used his battery to his advantage, and he's slid through and up into second place. What a move. What a debut for this guy. So that was on course to win his debut race in LSI.
Brilliant, brilliant stuff. P2 at the moment for the overall grid, of course. Let's watch and see. Is he going to be able to pull away for Eager Pro here? I don't quite know. At the moment, Eager Pro just needs to try and secure a good position here as he goes a little bit cheeky on the track limits. He doesn't want to lose it to Benjamin, of course, because he can still get a podium. A podium's a podium. But yeah, 1.1 seconds, 1.2 seconds. Pursuit's got all the confidence in the world with this car, and watch that gap between him and Nifo. Nifo doesn't need to push, so the likelihood he isn't, and he's just going to relax for this final lap. So maybe it's not the best comparison to look at, but still it's a pretty good job. Benjamin has got almost 1 lap to go, and he will secure the championship. They've already secured it for McLaren. It's just about getting it done for the drivers. And we have Gilly trying his best, just being there. He's actually gained a bit of time right now, but he needs to gain a lot more time if he wants to get ahead at all. Olsen in P6, and then we have Larlick in P7, Heisler and Gibby, of course, behind there as well. Larlick and Heisler got a little bit of a battle on their hands. DRS-wise, it's Heisler advantage, but ERS-wise, it's going to be of course, Larlick, because he's got nothing to worry about at the moment. Oh no, that's not what we want to see. Unfortunately, Olsen is round, and that is a front wing loss. They're going to lose the position to Gibby. That is going to be a P9 overall. Luckily for them, they're going to get 2 positions promoted. They will finish in P7 anyway. But yeah, that's not the way you want to end your race, of course. It is a very, very big shame. Nifo got the final few corners to go. Other than that, it doesn't really look like anything's going to happen. Gilly can't catch up.
Yeah, Gilly can't catch up to Benjamin, which is very, very interesting. I thought Gilly, at least on the straights, would catch, but he seems to really struggle on the straights to catch as well. So it looks as though the title's going to go to Ben. Remember earlier on in the race, we had that damage? He really tried to, obviously, help himself and not, as I was saying, get to drop back from it. And the safety car came out, he stayed out. And tactically, that was actually very smart. As Benjamin is making a few mistakes, and we'll see that gap to Gilly isn't dropping enough. It's dropped a bit over this last few laps, but Benjamin is relaxing. coming through the last few corners now. It's going to be Niffle for the F1 drivers who wins the race. There was no doubt from the start he was winning the quickest, and he's done it. But Pursoon comes around the final corner, and he's going to win his debut race in LSI. He's done it. But coming around the last corner now, that doesn't matter to Benjamin, as he is the world champion of LSI. What a job from Benjamin. Gilly can't do anything about it. He's P2, and he's dropped out the title race. Larlick is... Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, P2 for Ben, P3 for Gilly, and Larlick finishes in P4. Ben has done it, though. He's became the world champion with a race to spare. That is an absolutely phenomenal job. Yet again, proving why he is one of the best drivers in F1.5.
Absolutely brilliant. Well done to him. Great job. It is a P4 overall, and it's enough to take it. A very good season from this guy. A very good season. Niffer got driver of the day from going last to first, so fair enough. Very quick around this circuit. Yesterday it didn't go quite to plan, but they gave us a very good race. This is a very nice one as well. But this is the grid. Niffo takes the win. We got Pursoon in P2. Then we got Eager Pro, Benjamin, Gilly, Larlick, Heischler, Olsen, and Gibby finishing off the race finishers. And then we have Wesley Caspers DNFing, followed by Cohen, Mizzy, Mio Diamati, and Zora. This is the race director, just in case, if we need to check it later on. Because we might do. The track limits can be pretty tricky around this circuit. And then we will see you in a bit for the post-race interviews. Hello everyone and welcome to LSI F1.5 EU Championship. This is the post-race interviews of the Belgian Grand Prix. That was a pretty good one in the end. Some very, very interesting moments. Some very, very quick drivers and a championship also decided. Heisha, we start the interviews with you. Not what you wanted. Still, do you think you had the pace, or qualifying couldn't really find a lap?
Yeah, qualifying I just fucked up. Yeah. I think, I had the wrong tire pressures. I didn't practice it, so I didn't know what pressures I should do. So the rear was loose the whole race, and at the end I kept the rear in check more, but I got wing damage because I hit Gibby at the safety car restart. I have to look back at it. I don't know what mistake it was, but with the problems, etc., I think I did quite well. Was faster than Larnack, for example, even though I had wing damage. So I think, good knowledge for next races.
Yeah, good practice, and it is what it is. It will only make the good races even better. Great Britain is the next circuit. Do you like that circuit more than Belgium?
It's gonna be a Great Britain week next week for me. I do like it. Like it.
Awesome. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
Practice. Practice, just practice.
Fair enough. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time we're done today.
Thank you.
And we move on to Nifo. Nifo lasted first in the end. Really well done. Was that straightforward or not so much? It looked like you had it under control the whole time.
I mean, it was fine. I mean, the start was very chaotic. Turn 1, I had to brake for I think turn 1 quite a lot, because first the initial impact happened, then I tried to accelerate, people were slow, so I broke again. In a Rouge I caught up again, had to brake again. And then, I don't know, I think turn 5, 6, 7, I think Zora died. I thought it was going to be a safety car, didn't. Then Wesley, of course, disconnected right before the race, so there was a ghost car in the way, which was not ideal. Then in Pulhan also died. And then I was completely off my game, wasn't concentrated at all. I was like, what is happening? Spun. What a surprise. And then just going through the field again. I mean, I think most people either made mistakes or had connection issues. But there were a few good battles I had. So, I mean, the restart was good. I just pulled away, and I was just kind of relaxed. I was not pushing at all, just trying to not get a free second, and then just drive it out. So I would say it was pretty controlled.
Yeah, really well done. Nothing really much to say on that one. Great Britain, are you looking forward to that one? Do you think it will be better than Belgium for you?
I must say that last game I really liked it, but I have a feeling that this game, I don't know.
I mean, it's slightly more higher downforce than Belgium, so maybe that's a benefit.
Yeah, I would say so, but like corners as cops, I think I have a feeling I might not find the limit. Let's put it that way.
Fair enough. Well, one last question. Thank you very much for racing. How would you describe a race in 3 words?
Don't eat concrete.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Well done today.
Thank you.
We move on to Olsen. Olsen, you had pace. Just a couple of mistakes, unfortunately, didn't allow you to get into the fight. Do you think you could have done better? Where do you think you could have finished without the mistakes?
Yeah, I think I could have done better, but the issue was like on the first lap, I just touched the curb on was it Pulhan, and I just yielded into the wall. Glad I didn't lose a wheel, so it was just a wing, so I could replace it. But yeah, after that, I did some good pace.
Uh-huh.
But then I screwed it in the last lap in the exit of corner 1, which was a shame.
Yeah. I lost a couple of points, but still, you managed to finish the race. So, well done for that. It's not an easy track. Do you think you can do well at Great Britain?
I did my first proper race at Britain, and I got P3, but you never know. History is not going to repeat itself, probably.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Hopefully we can carry the good momentum. It would be brilliant to see you up there.
Yeah.
It's, late on into the championship and you joined late, so, you just need to get a little bit of experience and, you got nothing to lose. So it's all good, and hopefully we can see you have some better races next season. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
Don't touch curb.
Thank you very much, and see you next time on Today. And we move on to Gilly. Gilly, it was a great effort. Early mistake, unfortunately, made it a lot more difficult. It wasn't enough to get to the time penalty range in the end. Are you happy with your effort, at least, to try and get back into it, or not so much?
Tried my best. A little bit too hard. Faced the wrong way a couple of times. I'm still wiping up my tears, but I was outplayed.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long championship, and you did a very, very good job. A couple wins in there as well. So, really well done. It's been a great, great battle. So thank you very much for some very, very good entertainment. It's a shame that it didn't go the way you wanted it in the end today, but still, it was a good effort. Great Britain, your home race next week. Do you like that circuit more, and would it give you maybe an advantage if it's your home race?
Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't like it. Let's see how I'm feeling. I like to spin on it.
Fair enough. Maybe we'll see a I don't know, a final race redemption. Of course, maybe Demon Time, Gilly.
I think I'm already sacked.
Well done today. Thank you very much. One last question.
Thank you.
How would you describe your race in 3 words?
Crumbled under pressure.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Really, really good effort.
Thank you.
And we move on to the LSI F1.5 EU champion. Benjamin, that was a very, very, very interesting race for you. Ups and downs, and it looked pretty difficult, but you managed to get it in the end.
Yeah, it's never easy when Gilly's on the back of you, is it?
No, not in a straight line at least. But time penalties, were you worried about that? Do you think it might have been a position lost?
Yeah, well, I expected to. I had 5 warnings, so I had 3 seconds and another 3 on the ready.
Ouch.
And yeah, I got one from literally pointing 9 degrees out of the corner going onto the back straight, onto the final sector. So I think I may have got that removed, but it's only because I beached myself pretty much, I think. That's it. But yeah, I thought I was going to lose on time penalties, really. Especially on the last lap, I thought I cut a corner, but we won't talk about that.
Any words to the championship? You did a very good job. You were very consistent, and yeah, are you happy with the performance overall the entire season?
Not really. So I've only won like 1 or 2 races, haven't I? So it's a bit rubbish, but I'll just use the excuse I had a broken ankle.
Win it. You were there pretty much every time when it counted, so that's why you got it.
I'm pretty sure I haven't DNF once, so it's a all great from last season.
Yeah, fair enough. Don't speak too soon, though. Home Grand Prix next week. Do you think you can do well there?
Possibly. It's a bit of a shite track, in fairness, but yeah, maybe I'll get my DNF there where it's nice and safe.
Well, let's hope not. We'll see. But yeah, still really well done. Championship secured. You are a 2-time EU champion. Well done. Very well deserved. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
The race. Almost done by penalties. I'll add an extra word. Just can't think about.
Fair enough. Thank you very much, and really well done. Great job. And that's been it. Thank you very much. I'll pass you over to Zingy.
Thank you everyone for watching that incredible race once again. Join us again on Tuesday for the winter season of LSI. we'll be racing around Britain again, if I am not mistaken, in line with the actual LSI Championship, and Friday and Saturday for the last round of those championships. Anyway, that's been it from me. Congratulations to Ben on the championship, and we'll see you next time.